In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to solve for acceleration with 3 different examples that include ones with and without time and ones with and without displacement. So the first step you always want to do is you want to make sure you label your variables first so you know which formula to use, and then we'll go from there and we'll talk about the next steps and how to find your acceleration for each one of these 3 problems. All right, so our first step in solving any of these problems is to always label your known variables, and you're going to use the context of the sentence as well as the units in order to label your variables. So we have a cheetah that's running at 5 meters per second in the very beginning, speeds up to a final velocity of 14 in a time of 3 seconds. What is the acceleration? So we have everything all labeled out, including the variable that we're looking for. And then we're going to do that for the following questions as well. Starting at 5 meters per second, comes to a stop, which means a final velocity of 0. A delta x of 5.5 meters, which is its displacement, its change in position. And we're also finding the acceleration. And then our very last one, starting from rest, a starting velocity of 0, speeds up for 4 seconds, so a total time of 4 seconds across a displacement of 30 meters. Now, the first formula is the most nicely set up to solve for A because it's already isolated on one side. The other ones, we're going to have to do a little bit more algebra. Now, for our first problem, we're looking for A, and we can go ahead and use a process of elimination. And do we have VF? Yes. Do we have VI? Yes. Do we have T? Yes. So we're going to use our first formula for this one. So we're going to have A equals 14 minus 5 over 3. So 14 minus 5 is going to be 9 meters per second divided by that 3 seconds, which is going to give us a final answer of 3 meters per second squared. For our second one, we seem to have a delta x here, so it's going to draw my attention to the second or third formula because those ones have a delta x in them. So do I have delta x? Yes. Do I have VI? Yes. And do I have time? I do not. So I'm going to go ahead and slide over to my next formula. Do I have VF? Yes. VI? Yes. And then delta x? Yes. So I want to use my third formula. It has everything I have except that A. So let's go ahead and plug those in. All right, so what we can do is go ahead and simplify the look of this. We have 0 squared, which is going to be 0. We have 5 squared, which is 25. And then we have 2 times A times 5.5. And when you multiply numbers, it doesn't matter the order in which you multiply them. So I'm going to multiply 2 times 5.5, which is going to give us 11 as our coefficient in front of A. So then I can go ahead and subtract 25 from both sides. And then I can finish off by dividing by 11. And then we have negative 25 divided by 11, which gives us negative 2.27 meters per second squared. Now for our very last one, again, we have a delta x, so it's going to draw my attention away from this one because there is no delta x in this formula. And I have a VI of 0, a T, and a delta x. So let's go ahead and take a look at this first formula here with the delta x. Do I have delta x? Yes. Do I have VI? Yes. Do I have time for both of these spots? And the answer is yes. So we can go ahead and use that middle formula, and it's going to look like this. Now, the first thing we can do is we can take 0 times 4 and then go ahead and cross that out because we know that that is going to become 0 and not affect our final answer. And then just like I did over here, it doesn't matter the order in which you multiply stuff. So we have 4 squared, which is 16. 16 times 1/2 is 8. So I have 8a equals 30. And now the look of it is very simplified from what it was. Divide both sides by 8. And then 30 times 8 is 3.75. Okay, so we went ahead and we solved for acceleration 3 different ways, with and without time and with and without delta x. So the main strategy is you want to make sure and label all the variables that you know. Also, definitely label the thing that you're looking for. You take a look at your formulas and make sure you have everything except the variable that you're solving for, and then you can use algebra in order to solve that. And then from there, just being careful step by step through your operations so that you can solve for your final A. Thank you for watching and listening.